Well, a kiss cam at a Coldplay concert in Boston allegedly caught a married tech CEO in a pretty awkward embrace with a colleague.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay?
I could have never guessed that it would be such high-profile individuals in the video. I do feel sorry for their partners and spouses that they had to find out this way.
What if your entire life, your marriage, your business, your legacy, was destroyed in less than 30 seconds by a kiss cam at a Coldplay concert? It sounds like something out of a Netflix drama. But for Andrew Kitt, this wasn't fiction. This was the night everything fell apart. He wasn't some celebrity used to scandal. He was a respected CEO, a father, a husband, built his company from the ground up, bought a dream home, supported his wife's career, trusted her completely. And then, during one ordinary Tuesday night, while helping his kids with homework, his phone started lighting up like a Christmas tree. TikToks, texts, screenshots, one video, one kiss, one moment that would rip his world to shreds in front of millions. But here's the thing, this wasn't just a case of public cheating. This was something darker, more deliberate, a betrayal so calculated, so carefully hidden, that even now people are still uncovering pieces of it. Because Andrew wasn't just watching from home that night. He was supposed to be at that concert. And what came next was so much worse than anyone imagined. Andrew Kitt wasn't the kind of guy who chased headlines. While other CEOs were busy chasing fame, he quietly built something real. Privateer Rum, a premium spirits company that was thriving in an industry where most fail. No scandals, no chaos. Just years of hard work turning into generational wealth. And standing beside him always was Kristin. To their friends, they were that couple. The ones who made it look easy. The ones who balanced business meetings and bedtime stories like a perfectly synchronized team. She wasn't just his wife. She was his co-founder in life. Since 2020, Kristin had been helping run the business behind the scenes, using her HR skills to manage operations, boost morale, and shape the company culture from the inside out. They just bought their forever home, a $2 million colonial estate in one of Massachusetts' most elite neighborhoods. For bedrooms, 3-car garage, the kind of place where every room whispers, "We made it." Neighbors described them as polished, professional, inseparable. They were building something lasting, something that looked unbreakable from the outside. But behind those picture-perfect Instagram smiles and executive headshots, something else was brewing. Something that would make that kiss cam feel like a detonation switch. Because the truth? Kristin wasn't building the dream alongside Andrew. She was planning its collapse. It was just supposed to be a concert. A Coldplay show at a sold-out stadium, tens of thousands singing along, phones in the air, lights flickering like stars. Then came the kiss cam. You've seen it 100 times. The camera lands on a couple, the crowd cheers, they laugh, maybe lean in for a quick peck. Then it moves on. It's harmless. It's cute. It's forgettable. Unless you're Kristin Kitt. And the man sitting next to you isn't your husband. In that one moment, caught in 4K, projected on a giant screen, live-streamed across social media, everything came undone. Kristin, visibly startled. The man next to her, ducking like he'd just been exposed. And the crowd, laughing, cheering, totally unaware they just witnessed the beginning of one of the most viral betrayals of the decade. And then Coldplay's Chris Martin dropped a line that instantly echoed around the internet. Either they're having an affair, or they're just really shy. It was meant to be a joke. But within hours, it became the headline. The video exploded. TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, everyone had questions. Who are they? Why did they look so guilty? Wait, isn't she married? What started as an awkward concert moment became a digital wildfire. But here's what no one knew at the time. That kiss wasn't just an accident. It was a clue to something much darker, much deeper, and way more deliberate. Picture this. It's 7:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. Andrew Kitt is in his kitchen, helping his kids with homework. Maybe it's math. Maybe it's spelling. Doesn't matter. He's just being a dad. His phone buzzes. Then it buzzes again. Then it doesn't stop. Ping, ping, ping. Texts, calls, missed FaceTimes. A neighbor's kid runs across the street holding a tablet and asks the one question that makes Andrew's stomach drop. Is that your wife on TikTok? He looks at the screen, and everything stops. It's Kristin, on a kiss cam, with another man. But here's the part that'll make your chest tighten. Andrew was supposed to be there. That was their date night. Kristin had bought 2 VIP tickets. His name was literally on one of the stubs. But instead of going together, Kristin told him she needed space. Said she wasn't feeling well. Said she wanted a quiet night out with a friend. While Andrew stayed home, giving her the benefit of the doubt, she was walking into a stadium, hand in hand with another man, laughing, touching, leaning in, acting like they had nothing to hide. Except they did. And now the whole world knew it. That video didn't just go viral. It went nuclear. And in a matter of minutes, Andrew's entire life was turned into public spectacle. His wife was no longer just cheating. She was trending. But as bad as that moment was, it still wasn't the worst part. Because when people started connecting the dots, what they found made the kiss cam look almost innocent. This wasn't some sloppy mistake. It wasn't a one-night lapse in judgment. This was a plan. A long, methodical plan, quietly unfolding behind closed doors, while Andrew thought he was building a future. 6 months before the Coldplay concert, Kristin opened a separate bank account. Private. Hidden. Money started moving, small at first, then bigger. No red flags, no obvious signs. But the paper trail? It was all there. Then came the real estate filings. She'd started liquidating assets. Things Andrew didn't even realize had been put in her name. Retirement funds, side investments, even parts of the business. She wasn't pulling away emotionally. She was preparing a financial escape route. Social media didn't take long to catch on. Within hours of the kiss cam clip going viral, Kristin deleted her LinkedIn, completely wiped it. But she was already too late. Screenshots circulated like wildfire. Company events, staff retreats, late-night work dinners. Kristin and Andy Byron, her married boss, the man from the concert, photographed together dozens of times. Sometimes side by side. Sometimes just close enough to raise eyebrows. Always just enough to hide behind professionalism. Until they couldn't anymore. Reddit threads lit up. People started piecing together the timeline. Right arrow business trips. Kristin said she was taking solo. Andy was there. Right arrow HR conferences. That didn't add up. Andy's company was always somehow involved. Right arrow holiday parties, family gatherings, industry mixers. They weren't just working together. They were seen together. And the scariest part? Kristin was HR. She wasn't just cheating. She was supposedly trained to prevent the exact kind of scandal she was now starring in. She knew every policy, every boundary, every consequence. And she still did it. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment lapse. This was strategic, controlled, intentional. While Andrew was building trust, she was crafting an exit. And she almost got away with it. Once the internet caught the scent, there was no going back. TikTokers, Redditors, Twitter threads. Everyone became an amateur investigator. And what they found was nothing short of damning. Started with Venmo. Simple payments between Kristin and Andy Byron. Harmless at first glance until people zoomed in on the captions. Dinner wine glass. Thanks for last night face-blowing a kiss. Coffee again? Hot beverage. Each transaction a digital breadcrumb. Each emoji a new spark for the fire. Then came rumors of office security footage. Grainy hallway clips, allegedly showing Kristin and Andy together late at night. No details confirmed, but company insiders claimed there were enough red flags to trigger a quiet internal audit, even before the concert incident blew up. And remember that woman sitting next to them at the concert? The one frozen on the kiss cam, clearly aware of what was happening. She quickly became one of the most mysterious figures in the entire scandal. Was she a wing woman? A cover? Another victim? Sources from inside the company said she'd been suspiciously quiet ever since. No public statements. No comments. Just silence. But silence wasn't protection. Because the internet wasn't just exposing Kristin's alleged affair. They were uncovering a full-blown operation. conference schedules, hotel receipts, internal memos, photos from company trips where Kristin and Andy were always just a little too close. Even holiday parties where she'd show up hand in hand with Andrew, while secretly sneaking glances across the room at Andy. The pieces didn't just fit. They locked together like a puzzle no one was meant to finish. And then came the quote that broke everything wide open. A source close to Andrew allegedly told a journalist, "He'll never forgive her. This wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal of our entire family." Unverified but viral. Posted, reposted, screenshot, tattooed into every corner of the internet. This wasn't just a bad decision. This was an ambush, personal, financial, emotional. And Kristin's fingerprints, allegedly, were on every part of it. While the internet was dissecting every frame of the kiss cam video, behind closed doors, billion-dollar consequences were already unfolding. Within 24 hours of the clip going viral, sources claim an emergency board meeting was called at Andy Byron's tech company. No press release. Just one brutal line that later leaked to the media. "Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability." Translation: you're done. Andy wasn't walked out. He was erased. LinkedIn gone. Company bio wiped. No farewell email. No carefully worded departure statement. Just silence and a gaping hole where a CEO used to be. Because when you're caught on camera in an alleged affair with a subordinate at a public concert, you don't get to negotiate your exit. And Kristin? Her HR career didn't just take a hit. It reportedly flatlined. You can't be the head of people and policy while allegedly violating every single thing you're supposed to uphold. By the time people started digging into her work history, it was already too late. Screenshots of her deleted profiles started circulating like trophies. Comment sections turned into war zones. Former colleagues, clients, even vendors, everyone had a story or at least a theory. The rumors were endless. Right arrow NDA buyouts. Right arrow severance negotiations that fell apart. Right arrow internal investigations buried under HR red tape. But one thing was clear: no board, no company, no client would touch either of them again. Because this wasn't just an affair. It was a public relations disaster. A viral case study in what happens when personal betrayal turns into corporate collapse. And while Kristin and Andy tried to disappear, the internet only got louder. Memes, reenactments, reaction videos. Even Coldplay fans weren't letting it go. One tweet read, "Fix you just hit different now." And yet, in the middle of all the chaos, the people who had nothing to do with the kiss cam, Andrew and Andy's wife Megan, were left to clean up the wreckage. Lives shattered, businesses burned, reputations erased. And it all started with a kiss that was never meant to be seen. For Kristin and Andy, the consequences were career-ending. But for Andrew and Megan Byron, the fallout wasn't measured in board meetings or LinkedIn deletions. It was measured in trust destroyed, homes hollowed out, and a future that suddenly no longer existed. Andrew didn't just lose his wife. He lost his business partner, his co-parent, the woman he built everything with. From the company to the family photos hanging on their $2 million Colonial's walls. That dream home? Now it's being called the most expensive crime scene in Massachusetts. Not because of what happened in it, but because of everything that was faked inside it. Every room held plans for a future Kristin was allegedly already abandoning. Every photo on the wall, evidence of a double life. The betrayal wasn't just physical. It wasn't just emotional. It was surgical. Sources close to Andrew reportedly said, "She didn't just cheat. She used me. She used our marriage as a cover for something else entirely." And for Megan, Andy's wife, the collateral damage is almost too much to imagine. One moment, you're married to a successful tech CEO. The next, your husband is trending for making out with a coworker on a kiss cam, while the whole world watches. TikTok reenactments, YouTube breakdowns, Reddit threads analyzing body language frame by frame. And through it all, the internet didn't just watch. They commented. They speculated. They joked. Coldplay Cuddlegate became a meme. Someone even started a betting pool on whether the marriages would survive. It stopped being a scandal. It became a spectacle. And Andrew? He couldn't even walk into a grocery store without someone asking, "Hey, aren't you the guy from the Coldplay thing?" Every search of his name brought it back. Every new person he met had already seen the most painful moment of his life. It wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation on an internet-wide scale. And the worst part? It was all allegedly planned. This wasn't just a marriage gone wrong. It was a digital execution broadcast to the world in real time. What started as a joke on a jumbotron became a cultural autopsy of trust, loyalty, and betrayal, played out frame by frame across every screen on the planet. And that's what makes this so different from the usual celebrity scandals. Andrew and Kristin weren't reality stars. Andy wasn't some tabloid regular. They were regular people, a CEO, an HR exec, two families who thought they were living private lives. But the truth? There's no such thing as private anymore. In an age where everything is recordable, replayable, and memeable, your worst moment can become your legacy. That kiss cam didn't just catch a mistake. It allegedly exposed a masterpiece of manipulation, years in the making. And now the internet remembers everything. A marriage, a business, a future. All allegedly dismantled, not in courtrooms or counseling offices, but in TikTok comments, Reddit threads, and YouTube thumbnails. And for Andrew, the woman he trusted most reportedly didn't just leave. She took his seat at the concert. So here's the question no one wants to ask, but everyone's thinking. If someone turned your love story into a viral meme, would you ever forgive them? Backhand index pointing down, drop your take in the comments. Thumbs up, hit that like button if you believe betrayal this public deserves consequences just as loud. Because this story is far from over.